Hi, Jennifer Ladd here. So I've been looking into Saturn again recently. Saturn being in Pisces, it means that we are coming up to some closures in our lives in the area of Pisces. We've had to have some stark realities in that area of our life, and the combination of the Pisces energy of endings and the planet of Saturn, it's given us a reality check in areas of our lives, and it's given us places that we need to do some work. It takes about 2.5 years to travel through each sign. It's been about 29 years since the last visit, since Saturn was in Pisces, and it's worth looking at for that reason, because it's quite a long time ago, so it's quite significant really. The journey that Saturn's taking is going to be even more significant when Saturn gets to the 29th degree towards the end, because it really is at a final end completion point when it gets to the 29, say 29:59, and that's probably going to be a separate video. But what I wanted to do today was to give you a very quick run through of the different ways in which it might be affecting you in your life. And let's have a look. So if you have Aries rising, you may find that you've been finding out some hidden information. Maybe you've been realizing that you want to be included more in some areas of your life that you feel you haven't been, that you've been in the shadows with. You might feel like it's been showing you some reality on some of your spiritual practices. Maybe it's not serving you as much. Maybe you want to get out into the real world a bit more. It could be you could be getting information like downloads in your dreams, and Saturn might be bringing some of those to the forefront for you to realise. So perhaps you've been having to let go of a lot of things as well since March the 7th. I think we all have. And whatever area of our lives we're looking into, those are the parts of our lives that we are having to really take some reality checks with. So for you, you might have had some reality shone on the hidden things. Maybe secrets have come out, things that you didn't know about before. Maybe they keep coming out over this since March. Are you finding out more and more things that you didn't know before about anything in your life? Are you feeling, actually, I'd like to be seen more, and I'd like to get a more tangible grip on my reality, and release myself? You might have felt isolated, and this is giving you the stark reality of that, and that maybe it's time to allow yourself to break free from that. You might have been experiencing more awareness of where you're going spiritually, and the things that you want to integrate into your being and soul, things that need completing for you to move forwards into the next phase of learning and growing. If you have Taurus rising, for you it's been about friendships and your wider community and your hopes and wishes, and you might be finding that you're having reality checks on how you want to be in your friendships, how you want to show up, how you want to be part of your local community. You might be finding out new realities of boundaries that you need to put into place in those communities, and friendships. Certainly you are probably finding that You're finding out new truths about your friendships, perhaps. More like groups of friends, I think. So that is Taurus rising. And then moving on to Gemini rising, it's falling for you in your career zone. So you might be finding that you're having some reality checks in your career, how you're seen in the world, your ambitions, maybe even relationship with one of your authority figures in your life, maybe one of your parents. And it doesn't matter how old you are, because you can still have reality checks at any age about your childhood, for example, and what authority means to you. It could be being questioned. Things being uncovered, and as I say, the idealistic view of your work life might have been brought to a bit of a halt. You might find that you're simply not able to get that stable position at work that you've been trying to get, and that sort of footing's been off and on, and not really sure where you're at with that. Just bear with me. My computer's decided to go to sleep. Thank you. So now let's move on to Cancer rising. So Cancer rising, for you, it's actually all about your values and how you are expanding in the world. And for you, you might have been having some realizations in what you want for yourself in the bigger picture of things. You know, where do you want to head? Where do you want to grow? Where do you want to expand your energy into next? You might be finding, actually, you know, I need to learn something new. I need to learn something at a higher level in order to have more opportunities to explore and maybe even travel. You might want to travel. You might want higher learning, travel. You might be looking into different philosophies as well, reevaluating your values and how you see the bigger world and where you fit into that. Mostly, I would say, looking at the limitations of how can you grow now, what needs to happen. So I think that's Cancer rising. And then let's move on to Leo rising. So this is an interesting one. Leo rising. This might have been quite intense. This is in the area of shared resources and intimacy, death, taxes. You might have had some things come to light that you didn't realise. You might have over-merged with people, and now you're having to create some distance in order to look into your own resources for yourself. You may have had some financial wake-up calls. You might be struggling with your finances right now because it's showing you where you need to be realistic with your spending, and mostly where your income is shared with someone else, or it could be commitments, but it's financial commitments, contracts, marital contracts. You might be having a wake-up call with your intimate loved one. So it's quite intense time, and it's probably feeling like a bit of a roller coaster ride, like some really big things are coming to an end. I think all signs are feeling that in some fashion. Yeah, it's looking into the dark stuff and seeing the reality of it, and actually seeing it's not as pretty as what I first thought, and having to adjust to that and create boundaries again. You might have to be creating boundaries in order to save money. You might be having to limit your spending as well in your household. You might have had to sort something out with your mortgage. Anything to do with, you might have had, financially, it's probably been a little bit of a stop-start. Whether that be your partner maybe hasn't been well, or the person who would be contributing to your finances in some way has been limited. Moving on to Virgo rising. For you, this has been about relationships, your one-to-one relationships in particular. So you're having a wake-up call in terms of like how you feel in your relationships with others. Perhaps you need to put boundaries in place within your relationships, because maybe you are just giving too much away, too much of your energy away, and almost martyring yourself in order to do that. And that isn't healthy for anyone. So yeah, you're learning, I think, to put some boundaries in place in your relationships, maybe even boundaries for yourself as well, personal boundaries, and just having a cold hard look at what is real in your relationships. Have you idealized things too much? Have you had the rose tinted spectacles on and thought that they were something to you that actually in reality you just placed that projection of what you wanted them to be, and now you're having to, you know, realize that it's not as perfect as you thought, which for a Virgo rising might actually be quite disappointing. However, it's information you needed to know so that you could grow and move on to the next stage. Libra rising, for you, it's falling in your area of daily life and health and routines. So a reality check's been given to you about how you are spending your days, what you're doing, maybe health routines as well. Maybe you're having some health issues that are coming up that are stopping you from doing some things. Perhaps you've got some limitations in your daily routine due to some health things. Or maybe you're finding that you're needing to work through new routines to create some more stability for yourself. Just getting more realistic, really, and more productive, perhaps, instead of spending too much of your time daydreaming, perhaps. And just maybe you've been giving yourself away too much in your daily routine and daily life, maybe. Working very hard, trying to serve others, and looking at things and thinking, right, what can I actually do now to make things more realistic in my daily life, really, for it to be healthier for me. And then we're looking at Scorpio rising. So for Scorpio risings, for you, it's falling in the area of self-expression. So you might have been looking back at your childhood. You might have been noticing things that were missing. You might have been feeling like you just can't seem to express yourself how you want to at the moment, and you don't know why. You don't want to take risks. It's like there's aversion to taking risks, or like a sense of limitation of expressing yourself in a creative way. You might be feeling like you and your children are going through a bit of a time at the moment, and you're trying to work out what's going on, and perhaps realities with that. Perhaps you've been quite idealistic of what to expect from your children. Maybe you have been. Maybe you need to look at that. Is it realistic, what you're thinking? Are you projecting your own desires onto how your children are, and not giving them the freedom they need? So it's looking into those sort of areas of your life at the moment where it's giving you reality, and perhaps you do feel a little bit limited at the moment in that area of expressing yourself. Or it could be the other way around. It could be, I'm not expressing myself enough. I haven't realised that I need to do this more. I need to get out there more, express myself, be myself, show who I really am to the world. Maybe that's what's happening. So for Sagittarius risings, for you, it's all then about family. So this could have been quite an intense one as well for you. Quite deep things coming forwards, and having to really learn about your roots and how you feel about that. And it could be some unconscious emotions coming to the surface about your family life, your roots. It could be a family life in general, like how you run the household, how you fit that in with work. Is it feeling like family life is actually stopping you from getting your career sorted out? Do you feel like you're in an opposition there, feelings? but mostly it's about where you came from and looking at how you feel at home. And maybe you feel like you've had to have a reality check from your family life and what it's actually like and what it actually was like growing up. You might have had to look at the realities from that point of view as well. You might be feeling, actually, you know, it's so chaotic at home. And I don't get anything done. I'm just walking around daydreaming, and I need to organise myself and just get much more structured. You might be feeling like that as well. Like, it's time to organise myself, it's time to bring in the discipline at home, get the washing done when it needs getting done, have set times for things. That might be difficult if you've got Pisces in the fourth. You might find you're a bit messy at home, but extremely organised at work. Maybe you're trying to bring in a little bit of structure in your home life. So, where do we get to? For Capricorn rising, for you, this is about your communication. So how you think about things, how you process information. So you might have some reality checks on your thought processes and the programs that you've been carrying around with you, and how you've been communicating to others, and the way other people communicate to you. You might be having a reality check there. Maybe actually I need to communicate in a different way now. Maybe I need to take a step back and take a reality to how this is affecting me, affecting others around me. You might be having issues with siblings as well. You could be having reality checks about siblings and the relationship there. You might be needing to put some boundaries in place. Boundaries within your communication with others. Boundaries with yourself. Do I need to actually put a boundary up here? Think about how I'm going to actually present the information before speaking it. And really think about it before just going for it. Aquarius rising. So Aquarius rising, you have been evaluating how you feel about yourself and your self-worth. This might have been quite difficult for you. You might have been feeling like you just don't know how you feel about what you're worth and what you can bring into this world. You might also feel like you just don't know how to get your resources in order, and money might have been quite limited for you. Since Saturn entered Pisces, it might have felt for you like you just can't seem to get your money in order, your personal finances, personal resources. So perhaps that things have been difficult at work, and perhaps you are reassessing how you feel about what's important to you, and how to create stability. So the reality checks there have been about stability and about creating foundations for yourself, and how do you become self-reliant, and just thinking about boundaries there as well to maintain that sense of self-reliance. And then finally, Pisces rising, for you, it's all been about your identity, how you see yourself. There might have been some limitations on your body. You might feel quite tired. You might feel like, my goodness, it's been a really long cycle and I'm really waiting to feel a bit more revived. Saturn has been giving you some limitations there and some reality checks, lessons of the self, and boundaries for you have been to do with how you identify with the world and those around you, and maybe you're wanting to not be quite so sacrificing. Perhaps you've been doing that. Perhaps that's something that you've been doing in the area of life. Neptune will be bringing that to your attention as well. So I hope that's been of use to you. Check out my painting of Saturn in Pisces. I'm on Facebook, jenniferladd.art. I'm on Instagram as well. and I'm on YouTube, so you should be able to find me. Okay, take care. Bye.